The story is simpler. Anivia and I both agreed that we should stay here to wait for you. We're supposed to serve the Queen, but our hearts are here. Besides, you're still commander of the Crusade, and I've no right to abandon you, even if there's almost no hope left. Although I must admit that the storyteller's tale about his vision of your imminent return seemed quite vague, I followed him here to make sure he didn't accidentally hurt himself. Irabeth smiles happily. I'm glad that he proved to be right, and you really have returned. Is? The place sounds familiar. Can you remind me of the details? Oh, Is. The city that hangs over the abyss. It was once the citadel of legendary rulers, the capital of Sarkoris, but now demons are tearing it apart, making a mockery of its former glory. 2/3 of its magnificent streets and proud towers have collapsed into the world wound. But the city still holds on, just as Sarkoris holds on, defeated but refusing to die. The Queen did the right thing. We've mustered enough strength to try and go on the offensive for the first time since the First Crusade. If we don't recapture Ys now, who knows how many years we'll have to wait for another opportunity to approach it. To arms! It's time for the final battle for Dresden. Storyteller nods. Yes, your arrival has changed everything. Attacked by 2 armies, we felt like a dilapidated palisade on the verge of being swept away by a giant wave. But with your return, we have become an indestructible wall that will withstand any blow. I was afraid we would not be able to succeed without the banner. We may not have the banner, but we're still here. We live to see your return. You truly are our banner, Commander. To arms! There's just one more thing. Storyteller pauses for a while. In the shattered fragments that form her fate, I can sense your presence, and I am convinced that the Queen could sense it too. No one can say what your next encounter will lead to, but there is one thing I know for certain. Queen Galfrey's fate and yours are tightly intertwined. Perhaps that is what made the Queen write this letter to you. After I touched her goblet, I saw her hiding it in a secret compartment in the wall, and I managed to find it. I do not know what it says, but I can sense the emotions that were tearing the Queen apart while she wrote it. Morgraine, I don't know where you are now. Are you even still alive? I don't know what to do, but I am Queen and I must act accordingly. I don't know why I'm even writing this letter. You are unlikely to ever read it. Forgive me, Galfrey. The storyteller ponders for a moment. I think I will be able to tell you about the feelings she was experiencing in that moment. If you wish, you can come to me later when everything has settled down and bring this letter with you. We will look into the past of this item together. Too many of them! This is useless, we're done for! Hold the line! A huge, oily Nafelshne is waiting for you with his arms folded. Here comes the commander, kids! So, Commander, do you like what you see? You've arrived just in time to hear your friends screaming for help. They trusted you, and look what's happened to them. You actually think you can rescue them? Ha! What do you think you are? You shouldn't have angered our master mortal. We will take away everything you have, your mind and your flesh included. You belong to him now. Who sent this army here, you beast? We all serve our master Baphomet, Lord of the Labyrinth. He promised us Dresden, your skin as a doormat. Interesting. I mean, Baphomet is hiding in his labyrinth right now, since if we kill him a second time, he will be gone for good. Meryl adds with a smug grin. You will only get Dresden, or in Goftar. The skin is mine, and mine alone. He will look splendid in my chambers in the electable prison. I'll do what that idiot Minago failed to accomplish. I'll destroy the Wardstone as you watch, little commander, and then I'll admire the despair frozen on your face forever. Yeah. I think not. Enough. Now Fajnir bursts into laughter. I'll rescue my friends. And how exactly will you do that, you pathetic Galarian maggot? What can you do on your own without your army? Yell inspirational speeches? Oh no, I'm so scared. And then all the pathetic defenders of Dresden will be inspired and turn into an invincible force. Yes, that's usually how it goes in fairy tales. Do you know what happens next in real life? Your friends will rot in my lord's dungeon, and their bones will join the myriad others. We'll wipe your army out, and you along with it. But I won't kill everyone. I'll lock you in a cage and then start torturing your friends. Once I am done with them, they will come and spit in your face. They will tell you themselves what torment you doomed them to. With a pointed yawn, Meryl remarks casually, "It is time to end this, mortal. There's nothing to surprise us with. You are just a jumped-up mortal insect. You are nobody." Legend. Dragon mythic path. I am a gold dragon. My heart is full of compassion, but my spirit is interesting. No. Reveal the light of heaven. Let the darkness perish. Be gone from my world, demons. Power rushes through your body, almost ripping it apart. The wound in your chest bursts open, spray of bloody droplets. The might bestowed upon you by the Abyss and Aredo Vodesh erupts into this world, and you pay for it in purest agony. Light suffuses you, furies and burning. Light and the desire to scorch your enemies at any cost. Is that Iomida herself? An incredible silence suddenly descends over the city. It is broken by the solemn sound of fanfares that seems to come from far, far away, everywhere, and nowhere at all at once. All eyes are turned to the huge stained glass window of the city's main cathedral. It begins to glow with a soft light, and in the next breath, a lone figure steps out of the glass onto the cobblestones of Dresden.
Knight Commander, at last we meet.
What? There is no mistaking her, Iomide, a goddess who has deigned to descend to the world of mortals. Your companions shield their... Wait, we can attack her? No. Your companions shield their faces, unable to withstand her radiance. So I like this. I mean, mortal turned goddess, it's just... And she's just slightly hovering over the ground. There is no iridescent light shining from her, it's just... well done. The surviving demons quiver, the townsfolk fall to their knees, but the deity's eyes are on you, and you alone. My goddess, praise be to your name.
Rise. I have not come here to receive homage. I suppose you're asking yourself why I am here. Gods must not interfere directly in the affairs of mortals. But what is happening here in the world wound is no longer the concern of mortals alone. And this is proof. This fortress has witnessed so many horrors and miracles. It makes me wonder how it still stands.
For a moment, the goddess diverts her eyes from your face and looks out over Dresden, surveying the chaos caused by the recent battle and manifestation of your power.
I know how much light and hope you have brought to the Crusaders. Your achievements are indisputable. But during all that time, your followers believed that their leader was Heaven's chosen. This is a bitter lie, and goodness and justice cannot be based on lies. The light that emanates from you is deceiving and dangerously bright. It burns your companions, and one day it will burn you too. But I did not come here to reproach you, or to bewail the fate of the unfortunate defenders of Dresden. I wish to stop the forces of evil and defend Golarion, both from Daskari's violent rage and from Nocticula's insidiousness. But that is not my only goal. I have come here to restore justice, for justice is the birthright of all. That's why I hail you as a hero who has triumphed over the demons many times. At the same time, I grieve for you, as for a soul that is caught in a web of demonic deceit and villainy.
You are right, but what can I do about it?
I have come to help you. In that moment, when my poor herald was being torn apart by monsters, he found the strength to send me a message about what he had learned in the Abyss. You were in Illusionera, where you spoke with the Lady in Shadow and the Architect of the World Wound. They confessed what they had done to you, but they did not reveal the whole truth. Both you and this unfortunate world will have to pay dearly for the power that they so generously bestowed upon you. But all is not yet lost. That is why I have come.
Walls of Dresden shake again, and with a ringing laugh, a black shadow appears before the shining goddess. Nocticula in the flesh. Standing beside her is Ariel Volesh, who stares at the goddess with ice-cold rage in her eyes.
Who here has been taking my name in vain? Ah, it's you, the Inheritor. What's this? Our worst fears have come to pass. The gods are flocking to Golarion. This merry little tinderbox could ignite at any moment, reducing the material plane to dust.
I did not come here to fight.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you were good for anything else. Forgive me, that was unfair of me. Judging by your successes over the last 100 years, fighting is not your forte. After all, the wound is still there, as far as I know. So why are you here? If you have come to meddle in my affairs, don't expect me simply to stand aside.
I am ready to... No. I don't care about the secret ending. Goddess, can you banish the spawn of the Abyss or destroy them entirely? I mean, it's a bit stupid. I'm ready to hear what you want to tell me.
Do you hear me, Nocticula? You and your servant are under no obligation to leave. I have come here to shed the light of truth. Let us see if you both can withstand its merciless radiance. I cannot change the flow of mortal history by force. After all, the world wound is their doing, although committed at the behest of the Abyss. But sometimes force is unnecessary, and truthful words are all it takes.
The goddess who was mortal not so long ago is eager to judge us for our sins now. My sin, to be precise. What lies behind your eagerness, proud Iomade? Righteous wrath? Or perhaps fear? Watch out. A simple mortal woman has learned how to grant powers to others. Powers which are beyond the wildest dreams of many Imperial lords. This must be stopped, forbidden, taken away immediately. After all, what need will we have for all these arrogant gods once we become their equals?
Silence. It's impolite to interrupt your elders. But you know, Inheritor, she does have a point. What are you going to do now? Break my weapon, which has made so many victories possible, and only because he received that weapon from my profane hands, and the entire affair must therefore be profane also? What real reasons do you have? Save those born of your envy, your capriciousness, and your suspicions?
My reasons are quite real, as you well know. That is why you appeared here in such haste, is it not? You have woven a delicate lace of half-truths nocticula. From you and your servant, the Knight Commander has learned that he is bound to the world wound, that he is slowly dying because of its influence, and that he is yet capable of closing it. But you withheld a crucial piece of information. You never told him that closing the wound won't save him from death. For this lock will destroy the key to which it is bound. The one who closes the world wound will die along with it.
That is true. I tried to tell you back in Illusionera, but I was not allowed to. It is an unavoidable consequence of this process. To stitch two planes together as I have stitched Galarian and the Abyss, the soul of a mortal must be woven with the essence of the Abyss. To undo this seam, the original soul, the key, must be ripped apart. No one could survive such a process.
Arilu's voice sounds almost indifferent. She doesn't look at the furious goddess. Her eyes are glued to you. In other words, I'll die if I don't close the wound, and I'll die if I do close it.
It is true. Now do you see the perils of accepting a demonic gift? No matter how much power the Abyss gives you, that power will always be tainted by lies and misfortune. This is the justice I promised you. The right to know the whole truth, and not to be a plaything in the hands of abyssal spawn.
Nocticular, were you trying to hide this power from me?
Trying, you say? I successfully hid the truth from you for as long as I deemed necessary. Are you expecting me to explain myself? My goal is to close the world wound, not to grant you a happily ever after.
What if I reject this power?
You will live.
You will lose everything that makes life worth living.
You will spoil a brilliant endeavor and destroy the lives of thousands of mortals who will be devoured by the legions of demons coming from the Abyss. Aside from that, you won't do anything extraordinary at all.
Why does she care if mortals get consumed by legions of the Abyss? Why does she care about mortals? What if I'm willing to sacrifice my life if it means closing the world wound?
Oh, how noble! For a brief moment, I even felt some regret that we demons are incapable of such lovely things. You see now, Inheritor? My little protege has more nobility in him than you expected. Shame on you.
This nobility is exactly why I came here. To help the Knight Commander learn the truth, and to show him that he has been used. Besides, I do not believe that you have been acting for selfless reasons, Lady in Shadow. Honesty and nobility have never counted among your virtues. You own the main source of Nahindrian crystals, and your servant Arilu has learned how to break the laws of the universe with their help. Can it be that the ruler of darkness and mistress of assassins has not conceived a way to use this formidable gift for her own benefit?
Accusations, suspicions, all completely hollow, just like your bright-eyed pretty little head. It's a pity you inherited Eridan's sword, but not his sharp mind. I have but one goal now. To stop the armies of that lecherous billygoat and that gluttonous bug from strutting around my domain as if it were their own. I don't give a fig whether it will help mortals or hurt them. If the enemy of your enemy makes you a mutually beneficial proposition, you would have to be a complete idiot to say no.
No, I don't believe her. I mean, not entirely. There is something else, the motivation she's not telling us. It's not just that she doesn't want the two demon lords to leave her alone. She has an ulterior motive. Goddess, can you help me cleanse my soul of the influence of the abyss?
Aurilu has planted a piece of the abyss itself in your soul. The only thing that can cleanse the soul of such a taint is that same soul. But I will be near. I will show you how to root out the demonic corruption. I am not a demon, and I do not offer any simple solutions. You will have to go your own way, no matter where it leads.
Well, now I'm finally starting to understand the rules of this game.
Yes. The power that Nahindrian crystals grant you will bring about nothing but your own demise. The branches of the Tree of Sin are vast and verdant, but its only fruit is death. You will not be able to save yourself unless you reject everything that has been foisted upon you. Now you know everything.
Just one question, mighty goddess. If you're not here to fight, why do you have a sword in your hand and you hold it out towards the enemies? Couldn't you just holster it somewhere in a sheet of scabbard something? Just, that's kind of an offensive gesture, but what do I know? I'm just a mortal, right?
No, we're not quite finished with the revelations yet. Few secrets remain to be revealed, but they will be worth the wait.
Harilu's voice rings with a surprising, somewhat feral delight.
Does this look familiar? Do you remember the similar wound above your own heart? I have given you enough hints. Come on, ask me the question I have been waiting for.
With a flick of the witch's wrist, something changes in her, as if a veil has fallen, one so thin that it was almost invisible, but which had clouded your vision nonetheless. Now you can see what was hidden before. A deep, open wound above Arilu's heart, obviously. The wound pulsates as blood drips from it. I received my wound because you, Arilu, implanted the essence of the abyss in my soul when you expanded the world wound. My question is, why do you have a similar wound? Could it be because you used your own soul as a key when you first opened the world wound?
That's right. And this means that the world wound actually has two keys.
A smile dawned on Arilu's face, approving and triumphant.
Good question. Just imagine. I have wasted so much time chasing the key to the world wound, and the key was right under my nose this whole time. Arilu, my love, come over here.
Nocticula looks at Arilu with fresh eyes, predatory curiosity written on her face. Arilu does not look like someone who has been cornered. Without a trace of fear, she gives you a faint nod, and then makes a barely discernible gesture with her hand and disappears as if she were never here, even here.
Wait! I said wait! That little bitch. I knew she would betray me sooner or later, but I never expected such an idiotic stunt. But everything seems to be falling into place quite nicely. You see, you don't have to die after all. Arilu opened the world wound, and Arilu will be the one who closes it, whether she likes it or not. Although, someone will need to catch her first, and this will require certain powers.
Yes, Arilu Vorlesh will pay for her crimes with her life. Her flight confirms that our suppositions were correct. But now we know that the world wound can be sealed with her blood. You have no reasons to remain indebted to the Abyss and indulge the Queen of the Succubi. Reject her gift, and secure your victory while being the person you were before Arilu Vorlesh corrupted you. Win as a mortal, and become a legend among mortals.
That is this legend stuff. We've seen it before, but only because I activated all the options for the modification.
She's talking rubbish. True, we gave you the power, but it was you who chose how to wield it. It belongs to you, and it will remain yours, so you can do whatever you want with it. But first, you must use it to close the world wound. You aren't going to catch this world's most powerful witch, and a half-demon one at that, with your bare hands, are you?
Oh, both the goddess and the demon lord stare at you expectantly. Ay. Before I make my decision, I want to ask Iomide some questions.
Ask, and you shall have your answers.
Finally. I mean, there's a goddess, so we have a whole heckload of questions. You gained your own power from the Starstone. How is my power any different?
My ascension was not accomplished in one day, and even the test of the Starstone was only one of its stages. I did not merely gain power. I embraced a sacred duty. Your power, on the other hand, stems not from long hours of study, not from trials. It is not the natural talent you were born with and carefully honed throughout your life. It is the result of an evil soul's deranged experiment with the blood of dead abyssal lords.
You imprisoned entire hosts of angels inside the Wardstone. Why did you do that to them?
Every one of my angels volunteered for that mission. They all knew what kind of watch they were going to keep. They knew that it would be a hard and exhausting battle, but that the lives of mortals throughout Golarion would depend on it. Alas, angels' minds can be as fragile as the minds of mortals. In less than 100 years, many wavered and wished to break the oath they had sworn. I do not blame them. I blame myself for allowing them to take on a burden that was too heavy for them.
That's angels' minds can be as fragile as the minds of mortals. That's quite interesting. Less than 100 years, many wavered and wished to break the oath they had sworn. I blame myself. Did you send your herald to follow me to the Abyss, or did he go out of his own free will?
He acted on his own noble impulse, and I did not stop him. I also did not try to dispel his misconception about you being my chosen one. I do not lie, but both celestial beings and mortals can be mistaken.
She doesn't lie, sure. She merely withholds some of the truth. For the noblest of reasons, of course.
As you do. Do you know what happened to your herald?
My herald, my loyal companion, was captured, and now demons are using him to attack Dresden. They're holding him in the Ivory Labyrinth, Baphomet's realm of the Abyss. It is a place I cannot go, not even to save my faithful friend. For doing so would start an interplanar war.
Deep grief flashes across the goddess's stern face. So he is alive, so we will save him, of course.
Right now, as we speak, Baphomet's servants are torturing the hand of the Inheritor. Tormented and anguished, he reaches for you with his thoughts and his soul. I cannot tell if he sees you as a great unfulfilled hope, or a last chance. But Baphomet knows well how to exploit such desperate yearning. He has turned my herald into a source of power to open temporary portals. They do not last long, but they lead from the dungeon where the hand of the Inheritor suffers, right to your doorstep. Baphomet does not need to lead his armies through the rifts. Now he can send them right here. As long as my poor herald remains in the hands of that monster, This will not stop. I cannot say if it is still possible to save him, or if putting him out of his misery is the only way. I cannot openly ask you to intervene. But if you decide to do so, you will be helping both yourself and the one who chose the martyr's path when he followed you into the abyss.